Be sure to give the video a thumbs up, share your insights in the comments, and subscribe to embark on this journey with us as we unveil our latest tales. The room thrummed with lively chatter, the clink of glasses harmonizing with the sultry notes of jazz that floated through the air. The annual office holiday party pulsed with energy, laughter echoing through the air, and for the first time in years, I felt the weight of the world lift, allowing myself to truly unwind. I was never one to get swept up in the swirling currents of office gossip or to linger in the break room, where whispers and secrets danced in the air. At 49, navigating the high-stakes world of corporate finance, I had mastered the art of maintaining a careful distance from the swirling chaos of workplace drama. But tonight carried an unmistakable weight, a tension that crackled in the air. Perhaps it was the enchanting shimmer of the golden fairy lights dancing upon the glass windows, enveloping the room in a captivating warmth. Or perhaps it was the champagne, its effervescence weaving through my veins, unraveling the threads of my usual restraint. I smoothed the sleeve of my emerald green dress, a striking contrast to my usual business attire, and surveyed the room with a keen eye. Amidst the bustling atmosphere, my colleagues were engrossed in animated discussions, their laughter ringing out as they exchanged inside jokes and unveiled their holiday plans. Then my gaze fell upon him, Daniel Carter, the man who held my fate in his hands. With a height that seemed to stretch toward the heavens, he exuded an air of composure and an effortless charm that drew the gaze of everyone around him. It was as if he possessed an innate ability to seize attention without even trying. At 56, he moved through the world with a natural confidence that seemed to flow effortlessly from him. He possessed an undeniable magnetism that commanded attention whenever he spoke. It wasn't merely his title as CEO that drew people in. It was his extraordinary ability to make each individual feel truly acknowledged and valued. Our connection had always been one of professionalism, marked by a respectful distance that kept us apart. For nearly a decade, I toiled beneath his watchful eye, yet our exchanges remained scarce, confined to the rare work-related dialogue that barely scratched the surface of our true selves. In that moment, my breath hitched as his eyes locked onto mine from across the room, and I felt a magnetic pull as he began to stride toward me. "Are you enjoying yourself?" he inquired, his voice a blend of smoothness and casual intrigue. I raised my glass, a smile spreading across my face. "Striving to. You don't seem like someone who would thrive in the chaos of an office party." He let out a low chuckle, the sound mingling with the clinking of glasses as he took a slow sip from his drink, savoring the moment. "Indeed, you are correct. I often weave through the crowd, a shadow among the throng, slipping away before anyone can catch a glimpse of my presence. Yet this year carries an unmistakable weight, a sense of change that hangs in the air." I tilted my head, curiosity igniting within me. "In what way?" Daniel paused, a flicker of uncertainty crossing his face, before he leaned in closer, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper that wrapped around the words like a shroud of mystery. "A secret has been lingering on the tip of my tongue, waiting for the right moment to spill forth." My eyes widened, surprise washing over me. What could it possibly be? He released a breath, a subtle smile playing at the edges of his mouth. "Nowhere to be found." A sudden spark ignited in the air between us, an unvoiced tension that caught me off guard. My heart raced, not from fear, but from a thrilling sense of anticipation. Before I could utter a word, a voice pierced the air, calling his name, and in an instant, the fleeting moment slipped away, leaving only echoes of what might have been. He cast a lingering glance my way before slipping away, leaving me rooted to the spot, his words echoing in my mind like a haunting melody. Nowhere to be found. What message was he desperately trying to convey to me? The night stretched on, yet my mind was ensnared, endlessly replaying Daniel's haunting words. Each time our gazes locked from across the room, an invisible force pulsed between us, heavy with unvoiced secrets and untold stories. As I reached for my coat, poised to step out into the unknown, a hand brushed softly against my elbow, sending a shiver down my spine. As I pivoted, I was met with the unexpected sight of Daniel looming just behind me. "Can you spare a moment?" he inquired. With a moment of uncertainty, I finally gave a reluctant nod. "Absolutely." With a sweeping motion, he pointed toward the balcony, inviting curiosity and anticipation. The biting December air enveloped me as we crossed the threshold into the night, yet I was oblivious to its chill. I never intended to be mysterious, he confessed. Has tone become gentler now? I was searching for that perfect moment to seize, the one that would change everything. I enveloped myself in a cocoon of anticipation, curiosity surging within me. Very well. I'm all ears. Daniel raked his fingers through his graying hair, a heavy sigh escaping his lips as he wrestled with the tumult of his thoughts. Then he turned his gaze toward me, no longer just my boss, but a man with a weighty secret to share. For years I've watched you from the shadows, captivated by your every move, your essence, not merely your labor. Your presence commands attention, and the way you navigate each challenge with effortless elegance captivates all around you. Silence enveloped me, a heavy shroud of uncertainty. I held my tongue, convinced that stepping forward was not my role in this unfolding drama. A low, steady hum enveloped the air, creating a palpable tension between us. The city lights flickered like distant stars, yet my gaze was locked on the figure before me, a man shrouded in mystery. Daniel? As I began to speak, uncertainty gripped me, leaving my words hanging in the air, waiting for the right moment to break free. You don't have to say anything, he interrupted, his voice soft yet commanding. I had to make sure you understood. In an instant, the world around her transformed. I stood on the balcony, the sharp winter air caressing my skin, yet all I could sense was the lingering warmth of his words, filling the silence that stretched between us. Daniel Carter, my boss, the man I had admired for years, had just revealed a truth that sent my heart racing. He saw me as more than just an employee, more than a colleague. I gulped, my heart pounding fiercely against my ribcage. Daniel stood at the edge of the world, the wind whipping through his hair as he gazed into the abyss. Shadows danced around him, whispering secrets of the past and beckoning him to step forward. The air crackled with tension, and he could feel the weight of destiny pressing down on his shoulders. Every heartbeat echoed like a drum, urging him to embrace the unknown that lay ahead. At last I found the words, my voice barely a whisper, softer than I had meant it to be. Words escaped me. A faint smile flickered across his lips, yet it carried an undercurrent of tension that hinted at deeper unease. Silence hung in the air, thick and palpable, as unspoken words lingered between them. I never intended to place you in such an awkward situation. Another year loomed ahead, and I felt the weight of truth pressing down on me. I knew I couldn't let it slip away without finally being honest, truthful. The word reverberated through my thoughts, haunting and relentless. When had I last faced the raw truth within me? For the past few years I had invested every ounce of my being into my career, embodying the dedicated professional, always maintaining my composure. But standing here now, I sensed something begin to unravel, a subtle realization slinking into my mind. Daniel had caught my eye long before. Without a doubt I had. He was more than a mere powerful man. He possessed a rare kindness, a sharp intellect, and an understated confidence that effortlessly captivated those around him. I had brushed aside my own thoughts, persuading myself they were mere whispers, inconsequential and fleeting. But were they truly? With a deep breath, I released the tension that coiled within me, seeking to calm the storm of my racing heart. I never truly dared to confront this. His expression melted into something tender. I comprehend. The air crackled around us, thick with an electrifying tension that was not quite uncomfortable, yet laden with the weight of unspoken possibilities. I cast a fleeting look over my shoulder, peering through the shimmering glass doors into the opulent ballroom beyond. Amidst the laughter and clinking glasses, a world of revelry thrived, blissfully unaware of the dark moment creeping just beyond their revelry. Then I turned my gaze back to Daniel. What compels this moment? I inquired, a spark of genuine curiosity igniting within me. He paused, a heavy sigh escaping his lips. For years I wove a web of self-deception, telling myself that timing was everything, that distance was essential, that the professional boundary loomed larger than the tumult of my own emotions. But tonight, the weight of it all pressed down on me, demanding my attention like a whisper in the dark that had grown too loud to dismiss. His words pierced through the silence, awakening a long-buried part of me that had lain in slumber for far too long. A chilling breeze whispered through the balcony, sending a shiver racing down my spine. In a spontaneous gesture, Daniel cast aside his coat, letting it cascade over my shoulders like a protective shield. It was a gesture so simple, so instinctive, yet the warmth of it, of him, enveloped me in an unexpected embrace. "I don't want to complicate your life," he added, his voice dropping to a whisper, laden with unspoken emotions. "I had to make sure you understood." I locked eyes with him, probing for a flicker of doubt, a hint of remorse for the words he had just unleashed. Yet there was nothing else, only a raw and unwavering sincerity. In that fleeting moment before doubt could creep in, a smile broke across my face. "I feel a strong urge to unravel the meaning behind this." His eyes flickered with an intensity, a spark of relief perhaps, or the glimmer of hope. "Then let's figure it out," he murmured, his voice barely above a whisper, as if the weight of the world hung in the air between them. Time seemed to elongate, heavy with a silent connection that pulsed between them. This was more than mere attraction. It delved into the very essence of existence, a bond we had both been reluctant to confront until this very moment. Just as we were about to utter another word, the balcony doors burst open with a sudden force. "Alas, there you two stand." We spun around, our eyes locking onto Amanda, one of the senior managers, as she emerged from the shadows, a tipsy grin dancing across her face. "The moment has arrived for the toast to begin." The boss's speech was a pivotal moment, and it couldn't be allowed to slip away into the shadows of absence. Daniel's gaze flicked toward me, a storm of emotion swirling in his eyes, leaving me to wonder what lay beneath the surface. "We should go back in," I urged, pulling his coat tighter around my shoulders, the chill of the night creeping in. He nodded, yet as we crossed the threshold back inside, an unsettling shift coursed through the air. Everything that once connected us had irrevocably changed. The warmth of Daniel's coat still clung to my shoulders as we re-entered the ballroom, yet an unmistakable shift hung in the air between us. We slipped back into the party, masks firmly in place, him reclaiming his spot at the forefront while I melted into the throng of bodies, each pulse of music drowning out the chaos that had just unfolded. Yet the sensation lingered, palpable and undeniable. The gravity of his utterances hung in the air, heavy and palpable. On that balcony, an unspoken understanding lingered in the air, thick with unexpressed emotions and shared secrets. As he lifted his glass to deliver the annual toast, I couldn't help but scrutinize him with a newfound intensity, as if uncovering layers I had never noticed before. He moved with a grace that spoke of unshakable self-assurance. His deep voice resonated, drawing everyone into its magnetic pull. But now he had transformed in my eyes, no longer merely my boss. I was perceiving him as a man. "To another year of success," Daniel proclaimed, raising his glass high. The room erupted in applause, glasses clinking together, laughter cascading like a warm wave through the air. Yet, as his gaze flickered to mine across the edge of his glass, a shiver of realization coursed through me. This was no ordinary speech. It was something beyond mere existence. With a lump in my throat, I averted my gaze and brought the glass of champagne to my lips. The suffocating weight of the moment pressed down on me, and I craved the sweet relief of fresh air. With a quiet determination, I maneuvered through the throng, my heart racing as I navigated towards the dimly lit hallway by the coat check. The music faded into a distant hum, while the chatter echoed like whispers from another world. I pressed my back against the cool wall, inhaling deeply, savoring the moment. Everything had been set in motion, yet here they were, facing the unexpected twist of fate. 4 years, I had meticulously guarded the boundary between my personal and professional lives. I had forged a reputation as an individual who exuded composure, unwavering focus, and an unyielding spirit. Yet, as a single whispered confession pierced the stillness of a cold December night, doubt began to creep into my mind, unraveling the certainty I once held. As I contemplated the thrill of sneaking out, a deep voice cut through the silence, jolting me from my thoughts. I spun around to see Daniel standing just a few feet away, his hands casually tucked into his pockets. A breathless chuckle escaped my lips, echoing in the stillness around me. "Perhaps." He stepped closer, his eyes locking onto mine with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. "Have I woven a web of complications for you?" I paused, letting the thought linger in the air, heavy with possibility. "The answer eludes me for now." He nodded, a flicker of comprehension crossing his face. "I truly meant every word I spoke, you understand." I cast my gaze downward at the gleaming floor, my grip on the clutch growing more intense. "I understand." A heavy silence hung in the air, thick with anticipation, before he finally broke it with his words. I don't anticipate a response at this moment. I simply. He let out a breath, a slight shake of his head punctuating the moment. No longer will I wear the mask of pretense. His honesty ignited a fire within me, awakening emotions I had long buried. Our eyes locked once more. A silent exchange charged with unspoken tension. I feel the same way. His expression shifted, a flicker of surprise crossing his features, as though the answer had caught him off guard. I should go, I murmured, a sense of uncertainty gnawing at me, though the reason eluded my grasp. He made no move to halt my departure, yet as I pivoted to go, his fingers brushed against my hand with a tenderness that sent a shiver down my spine. It wasn't a daring act, merely a soft brush, an unspoken bond that lingered in the air. Can I call you tomorrow? He asked, his voice a mere breath laced with urgency. For just a fleeting heartbeat I paused, then finally gave a reluctant nod. Understood. I pulled my hand back, my heart racing wildly as I made my way to the exit. Yet, as I emerged into the biting chill of the night, a realization washed over me. The journey had just begun. The following morning, I awoke with an unsettling sense of change coursing through me. Brighter, it felt as though a long-buried secret within me had finally been brought to light, its existence recognized after years of silence. The morning dragged on as I paced my apartment, each step echoing the haunting memories of the night before, every detail replaying in my mind like a relentless film loop. The words whispered on the balcony lingered in the air, Daniel's gaze piercing through me, and the stillness of the hallway when he reached for my hand felt electric. And then came his final question, hanging in the air like a storm cloud ready to burst. I'll reach out to you tomorrow. I had uttered the word that would change everything, yes. Yet here I was, in the heart of my kitchen, eyes locked on my phone, a whirlwind of anticipation and uncertainty swirling within me. Was I truly prepared for what lay ahead? A flicker of doubt lingered within me, not because I lacked the desire to explore the possibilities ahead, but because it had been an eternity since I had allowed myself to experience emotions like this. A tangible truth. Just then my phone vibrated, breaking the silence like a sudden storm on the horizon. In the dim light of the room, a name echoed softly, reverberating with unspoken stories and hidden depths. Daniel. I inhaled deeply, gathering my thoughts before I spoke. Greetings. His voice enveloped the room, a steady warmth that wrapped around everyone like a comforting embrace. Doubt gnawed at me as I wondered if he would answer the call. A faint smile tugged at my lips as I leaned against the counter, the world around me fading into the background. I wasn't either. A soft chuckle escaped his lips, a sound that lingered in the air like a secret waiting to be shared. That seems reasonable. Silence enveloped us, stretching out like a taut string, as neither of us dared to break it. Yet, the silence hung in the air, thick and heavy, but it was not unwelcome. It was steeped in a profound, unspoken connection. At last, he summoned the courage to clear his throat. The evening air was thick with anticipation as I hesitated, my heart racing. I don't want to pressure you into anything. I began, my voice steady yet laced with hope. But would you consider joining me for dinner tonight? In a secluded corner of the world, there was no office, no titles, only the two of us. For just a fleeting moment I paused, caught in the tension of the moment. I would truly welcome that. As dusk settled over the city, I discovered a quaint, cozy restaurant, hidden in a serene corner, beckoning me with its warm glow. Candlelight danced upon the pristine white tablecloths, casting shadows that whispered secrets, while the low hum of conversation wove a tapestry of intrigue throughout the room. As I stepped into the room, Daniel was already there, poised and waiting to greet me with an intensity that sent a shiver down my spine. You came, he said, a flicker of relief dancing in his voice. A smile danced on my lips as he gracefully pulled out my chair, a gesture that felt like the beginning of something extraordinary. I did. As the night deepened, an unforeseen event began to unravel. We exchanged words. It's not about work. It transcends the mundane confines of office deadlines and the sterile atmosphere of board meetings. Yet, it all revolves around existence. In the pages of our favorite books, we found worlds waiting to be explored, each story a doorway to adventure. The places we dreamed of visiting danced in our minds, vibrant and full of promise. And in the quiet moments, it was the little things, the shared laughter, the fleeting joys, that wove the fabric of our memories, binding us together in an unbreakable tapestry of experience. With every fleeting second, I sensed myself coming apart, but in the most exhilarating manner imaginable. As the check finally made its way to the table, a chilling realization washed over me. This was something deeper than mere curiosity. It was undeniably real. As we emerged into the cool embrace of the night, Daniel paused, uncertainty flickering in his eyes. I understand this is uncharted territory, and I have no desire to hasten the journey ahead. Yet, I refused to turn a blind eye to the reality unfolding before me. I pivoted to confront him, my heart now unwavering. I feel the same way. His expression softened, and in that fleeting moment, I glimpsed a depth in his eyes that had eluded me until now. It was more than mere admiration, yet amidst the shadows there flickered a glimmer of hope. As he reached for my hand, intertwining his fingers with mine, a revelation washed over me. At times, the most unforeseen moments in life hold a depth that goes beyond mere surprise. They are precisely what we have yearned for all this time.